How's it going, my fellow geeklings? My name is Scott Anthony Christie, the Auburn Phoenix, and you are listening to a brand new edition of the T-Stories podcast right here on YouTube. I want to address a very, very important thing that a lot of people tend to overlook, and I have talked about it briefly in other videos, but I feel like it's something that needs re-emphasizing, and that is self-care and putting yourself as the main priority. Now, I don't mean this in a selfish way, but then again, some people will automatically think it is selfish. Let me explain what I'm talking about. Yesterday, I went into town because one of my friends was doing a short film for his university course, and he needed some extras, and I thought, you know what, I haven't done any sort of acting or anything on camera for quite some time, and I thought, you know what, I'd like to do it because it's helping this guy out, but most importantly, I want to do it. I enjoy doing it. That right there is me saying I am prioritizing this because it's something I want to do. And I've got the day to myself and I have a right to do it because it's my life. This is where the unneeded stress comes into it though, because of like other factors that came in throughout the day and they were just out of my control, and some of it wasn't my control. Before I went to get the bus to go into town, I went to my local chemist because there was a prescription I needed to pick up and it was supposed to be ready for me that day. Like, I had a phone call saying, your prescription is ready on Monday morning. Yesterday was Tuesday. So, I went down and I said, oh, could I pick up a prescription for Scott Christie, please? And they said, there's no prescription here since January. And I said, then why has somebody called me and said that my prescription was ready? And they said, oh, I don't know. It's like, that really annoyed me, the fact there's no communication in places. Here's the thing, communication is a very good thing, and it gets a lot of people through life easier. That's just a little hint for you. So that was a bit of unneeded stress that I could have done without, because I was in there, not arguing. They did look it up, they did try to find it, and they just said, like, my prescription was not ready, and I just don't know why. This meant I missed my bus in order to get into town on time for 11 o'clock. So I had to get a later bus, and the bus was rammed. This is not what I need today. But luckily, I got to filming at 11:30, and they had just finished setting up, so if anything, I had great timing. But again, it's always better to turn up a little bit early rather than dead on time, because you never know what could happen. So I did the filming and that was all fine. But here's where the unneeded stress came in. WrestleMania is upon us. What me and my friends tend to do is we tend to go to our local walkabout bar in town and we book a booth, or we book some seats so that we can all sit together. I took it upon myself to say, okay, I'll go into Walkabout and I'll ask them about prices, about how many people can fit in certain booths and all that sort of stuff. Unintentionally added more stress on me, because in my head, I thought I was doing my mates a favour, because I thought, no, you know what, I'm in town anyway, so I'll go check it out. But this was adding more stress onto me because it was something I didn't need to do. I thought to myself, okay, I'm trying to think about everybody else, and I wasn't thinking about myself, which again is the most important part. And that's not me being selfish, this is an actual fact. You are the most important person in your life, so you have to put your happiness and your care first. This was just like a minor thing, like literally I was thinking about, okay, I gotta be back at filming for this time, but I have got time to sort this out. That was just a little bit of stress that wasn't massive, but it did play a part what came later. Filming finished at around 5:20. I had wrestling training at 6 o'clock, and I'm still in town. I don't drive, so I have to wait for buses. A bus turns up at 6:25, and I get into my house at 6:10, and it takes 20 minutes for me to walk to my house to training. Oh, sorry, from my house to training, I should say. Let's make sure we get that correct. So I said to myself, I'll put a quick meal in the microwave, and as that's heating up, I'll go upstairs and sort my bag out ready to head to training. I slipped on my stairs, and this is where a past incident came into play for the wrong reasons. I injured my wrist in wrestling about 2 weeks ago, and I thought it was just bruised or something, like I was struggling to rotate it and all that, but I didn't think much of it. So like if you can hear like this fuzzy sound in the background, that's my splint that I was given. For you see, when I slipped on the stairs, I put my hand out to stop the fall, as you do impulsively, because the last thing you want is to smack your face on the floor, break your nose, or like anything like that. Put my hand out, mind you, it's still throbbing, goes flat on the thing, my wrist bends, I am in excruciating pain. I'm literally sat on the floor, clutching my wrist, and it's just throbbing. And at that point, I genuinely thought I had torn a ligament or broke it or something like that, because that's just the immediate reaction. As this happens, my mum comes into the house, and I ask her if she could take me up to A&E. Just drop me off, doesn't have to wait for me, I'll get a taxi back. I could see the frustration, because after working a very long day and then coming in, it's very, very frustrating to have to go back out and to sit somewhere that you are probably going to be a long time, because let's face it, A&E takes forever. And I understand that they are doing a service, but it just does take forever. And we were queuing up, we were all there, and like there was the stress in my head, because it's like, oh my god, I'm thinking about all these other factors, I'm missing training, I'm doing this, this, and this, and this, and this. It was like a big overload of anxiety. But luckily, I wasn't in A&E for that long, because my injury was only a minor injury. So they put me in the minor injury unit, which was like a little waiting room, only a couple of people. And funnily enough, 2 guys in handcuffs with police officers. And I thought, oh, great. So if some sort of scene breaks out, I'm going to be caught in the crossfire. Brilliant. Just how I want to spend my Tuesday night. But luckily, the nurse saw me very quickly. They identified that it wasn't broken because I could do some of the actions that she asked me to do with my hand. So I was in there maybe an hour. I was in the room for like about 5 to 10 minutes. So waited around, like, that's impressive. And I did feel bad because like I went in before certain people. But again, it's like I don't make the rules. They just tell you when people come in. Luckily, I wasn't up there that long. So I get home from A&E. And I think to myself, why did I get myself in this state of panic, state of anxiety, and state of stress? And obviously, like, you're probably thinking, well, because you fell and you had to be up in A&E. But that was only a minor thing. That could have all been avoided. It's because, in my head, I was thinking about things and not thinking about my well-being before everybody else's. It's like with the walkabout situation. I was worrying about other people and thinking, oh, what would be the best place to sit for this person, for example, or this, or this, or this. And it's like with the wrestling training. Like, I wasn't thinking in my head, I want to go to wrestling training because I enjoy training. And instead, I was thinking about, oh, I've got to go on time. I've got to help put the ring up or something like that. If I'm not on time, it's not a big deal. That's why I didn't tell myself. They'd understand. I do go pretty much the majority of the time when I'm not working. This was something I needed to get sorted out. And I'm happy with myself that I went to A&E because that was the first part of self-care. I thought to myself, right, I need to prioritize this now because my wrist could have been broken. They might have needed to give me an x-ray or something. It's like with the filming, that was my main priority because I wanted to do some filming. That I wanted to. It's not because I was forced to, not because I was being paid to do it. It was because I wanted to go into town and be on a film set. That is why I did that. Everything else could have waited. Like I said, I came in to my house quite later than expected. I could have had food, chilled out, and left a bit later on. And then I could have just said, look, I will be there. It's just I might be a bit later. This is a prime example of self-care. When I was in A&E, I messaged my work colleagues and I asked if anybody could cover my shift in work. Because the immediate thing was, this might have just been down to anxiety, because I didn't know how bad my arm was going to be. I didn't know if they were going to put me on tablets that would knock me out or whatever, and it would just really affect me. I asked somebody to swap or have my shift because I was caring for myself. Like, and I'm not saying you should just give away shifts every time you just don't feel great or whatever. What I'm saying is, because I was in A&E and I didn't know the outcome, I was prioritizing myself. You gotta remember, like, the happy you is the best possible you. That is why people need to be reminded that self-care is the most important thing. You can try and impress everybody. You can try and impress all your friends or make everybody else happy. But what is the point if you're not happy? It's like with the walkabout situation. Yeah, I could book a booth for like 20 people, but does that make me happy? Probably not. So again, but I'm not thinking about that today. Like today, I am just taking the time just to chill out, do this podcast because I enjoy doing podcasts, and I'm just having a chilled out day. Not because anyone else is making me take one, it's because I personally feel like I need it. And sometimes you have to take your foot off the petrol pedal or whatever the expression is. You just have to remember you can't go full force into everything. So, like I said earlier, maybe I said it, I don't know if I did, but I'm going to say it anyway. You are the most important character in your story. Think of it in a film. You are the lead role in your film. Everybody else is a supporting character, and that's not me being selfish. A supporting character is a very important part of the story. But this is your film. Your life is your film, and you need to focus on being the best lead role you can be. So with that being said, I will leave with the fact that you are the most important person in your life. As long as you tell yourself that, and as long as you prioritize yourself, you will be happy because you're not adding excess stress onto yourself for no reason. With that being said, I've been Scott Anthony Christie, guys. I am sitting here in a splint because my wrist is very annoying. And you've been watching not watching, you've been listening to the T Stories podcast. I keep forgetting this is a podcast now instead of a video series. But until next time, guys, hit that subscribe button for more content, and I promise there will be some more content coming along the way. I just don't know how frequently it will be, because I will do it because I enjoy it and when I can. You've been listening to the Auburn Phoenix, and I shall see you very, very soon. Take care, guys, enjoy the rest of your week, and remember, you are number one.